Hi guys, I'm going to be looking at Trump, JD Vance, and RFK Jr. and just see how that whole ball of wax is melting. I'll be looking at how JD Vance feels, how RFK Jr. feels, and Trump. Now, we know that Trump likes himself best and doesn't like it when other people get the spotlight. So any sort of popularity seeking by anyone that's supposed to be his underling is frowned upon. That's why he had milk toast Mike Pence. And we all know that he sought him, people were threatening him, and he did nothing about that on January 6th. So that's the type of individual Trump is. But let's just take a look now at JD Vance, who is a Leo, and we know that Leos are very, very fond of attention and how this is going to go. So that's the first part that I'm going to look at. All right. I'm just going to use my regular Rider-Waite albino deck. It's really well made. It doesn't peel, especially with my side to side way of shuffling. Um, Good deck. Highly recommend. Stands up. Quality. Okay. So let's just see. Let's look at how does JD Vance feel about Trump's preference for RFK Jr. Because RFK Jr. can, in Trump's mind, elevate him by his name. But I know that Trump wouldn't like it if he got too much attention either. But anyway, let's just take a look, see what the card's going to say about how JD Vance feels about RFK Jr. and Trump's excitement to have his endorsement. Hmm. Okay. We can also look at how does he feel toward Trump and then how does he feel toward RFK Jr. So let's just look at how does JD Vance feel toward Trump with regard to RFK Jr. All right, let's just see what we get. We get a feeling of being constrained, um, more like constricted, rather, confined, trapped, a little stuck. Not really entirely, but there's some confusion about how to extract oneself from being confined. And that really feels like expression. And we're getting the Ace of Cups. So there's a whole lot of feels. There's a whole lot of feels about this. And I think behind the scenes, he's like molten bleh about it. He doesn't stop. I think he unloads, literally, overflows, has a lot of feelings about this. But I think he feels that he must, and he would be right, really confine his expression, his feelings. He can't let release those. He can't show them freely. And that shows here. And he has a lot of them, a lot. And yeah, this is with the ace, it's also like a new burst of flow of energy. And it's flowing. It's doing its thing. And he has all those feels. Look at that. Okay. Makes sense. Okay, I think we're tracking. Not sleeping, insomnia, this is anxiety. I think that because he has to hide and can't release a lot of those feelings, it remains kind of pent up and it can interrupt sleep. It can give you bad dreams. All in all, a very stressful feeling going on for JD Vance and instability. As you know, I read in pairs, so we have instability and big high, big low, big high, big low. That doesn't surprise me with Trump. There's a lot of drama, and he never knows from one day, I think, to the next what is coming, is the feeling that I just picked up. It's like there's something new every day that he doesn't necessarily expect. And this makes him feel like he has to really be careful how he expresses himself. And I think that's chapping his hide a little bit, especially, the pent up energy. All right. That's what I was forgetting for JD Vance. Well, he's going to put up, I think, with a lot of challenges that are going to wear him down, though at the end. This little experiment, right now, this is the first card I get, is him overcoming these issues, but it does take a price. It does take a toll. And with the Nine of Wands, I feel like at the end of the day, he comes out feeling like he's been through the mill and bumped up, bruised, um, perhaps a little bit wiser having gone through it, but it takes its toll. It takes its toll. He endures, but at what price? There's a childlike feeling. I'm getting like with home, and I think when he's home, I'm sure he has children, but the focus seems to be on more light emotion and playfulness. So this might be that when he's in his own home, his own domain, there is a sense of, I think, comfort and playfulness that is a good thing for him. And I think he depends a lot, given the prior cards of just a struggle and having to be very uncomfortably quiet about things that you can't express. What else are we getting with the family and home? The family, yeah, again, more children here. Big happy family, so to speak, but it's also feels like the I trying to make the family look like an ideal family. It's maybe a bit too perfect. Um, I'm getting two children here. I think the family life, him trying to keep up these appearances, but underneath, I feel like we're being shown that he has a great deal of anxiety to keep up these perfect images of family, being the perfect Christian, so to speak, or a good Christian in a very Bible Belt kind of way. I can say that because I was born in Missouri, and that's like the middle of the Bible Belt. And here we have coming to a crossroads where he's going to need help, but I don't know that he's going to ask for it or get it because there's a block. It's like you come to that crossroads and you have to make a decision, and he's not making a choice here yet. There could be some legal aspects for him coming. Look at that, the law, justice, and him showing up in his own reading as the King of Wands. So it could be receiving help, coming to a crossroads where he has to receive help or ask for help in some way. But there feels like there's a, a bit of a wall um, to be able to freely reach out for this help. And I feel like it's within him. It's something he needs to get over to do. I think the pride in asking for help is a struggle. It could also be if Trump then seeks assistance from him in the future with these feelings that he has under his belt, tightly confined but painfully there. I think he may fail to act. This may really make a lot more sense. He may not give the help that is Trump is wanting or for his campaign. It feels like it's stale. And there might be some form of legal issues that he's going to face himself, JD Vance. Let me just pull another couple cards that follow that. I'm getting to do with a great deal of pride and kind of showing off, um, saying, look at me, recognize my accomplishments. There's a pridefulness. He's really, this is a man that's very firmly ensconced in his pride. It is the belt around his waist that tightens, you know? But he's going to feel overwhelmed and pull back a little bit and take a look at his efforts that he's putting in. I think he's going to feel like he's giving more than he's getting out of this deal at the end of the day. There's a manipulative edge by Trump. This is Trump to me. And this is also trying to manipulate, trying to get, I think, the presidency for Trump. But there's a manipulative edge to this. And somebody's out in the cold. I don't think there's an appreciation. Now, I think that this is the bond between him and Trump doesn't feel like it's in a good place, that they're both actually, we have two figures in each card, and it feels to me like both JD Vance and Trump are going to find themselves both on the outside looking in, not accepted. So I think I'm getting a message of despite the pair of them trying to make this successful, it's not going to work. And in fact, I see it for them falling apart. All right, let's grab the investigative deck and see if we can get anything else. Hold that thought. Magic. Okay, we have the investigative deck by Trish James. And that's James with a Jaimes. And these are from the UK, this deck. All right. Let's take a look with the investigative deck at how JD Vance feels about Trump's enthusiasm for RFK Jr. Clearly, we saw with the other Rider Waite that he is not a happy camper, that it makes him feel like he has to really watch it, but he's got a lot of feeling. And I just want to see what this deck might relate, that might be helpful. It might not be the right deck for this reading, and if it isn't, I'll just grab another one and we're just going to have some fun with this. Okay, so what does JD Vance feel? How does that make him feel and think that Trump is so gung-ho about JFK? And the preference that he might have had to have JFK, I'm not JFK, RFK, excuse me, RFK Jr. As a mate rather than himself. Let's see how did that make Vance feel? What do we need to know? Well, made him feel alone and in the dark and soul searching, looking within himself. I'm sure it triggered and it did trigger a lot of feelings, especially within that Leo love of attention, and that shows up. We're getting again the magician. So I think he is hiding, um, manipulating his reaction, so to speak. How, he's being very careful in what he conveys and communicates. But both of these cards are talking about dark ritual kept in the dark. And to me, he doesn't feel the support from Trump that a partner should feel. I don't believe it, that there is any chemistry at all. Not like what you have with, comparatively, with Harris and Waltz, um, who people are enjoying to go see and listen to, and there's a chemistry. There isn't that chemistry here. He feels like he is set apart. He is not included. He is on there isn't that inclusiveness. There isn't that bond. And it's all manipulation. And he knows it. He knows that this is not authentic. So he's trying to make it appear a certain way. And at the same time, I think confine his expressions. Distraction, not as it seems. It's an act, just like I was saying. He knows that this whole thing with Trump isn't authentic, that there's no real friendship, there's no real, it's really a game of grift. And we get the tower, chaos, something that's coming that he's not expecting, that is going to blow a hole in JD Vance's connection to Trump with the magician, or I'm sorry, that's not the magician, but this one is distraction, not as it seems, and the tower. This is a coming apart. So something is yet going to fall apart, get hit with some serious disruption that I don't think Vance is anticipating. And they're going to try and cover it, but I think that that's just going to crumble. Yeah, we get judgment. You know where I got there could be something legal that he gets in trouble for. This is the judgment card before he got justice, and it's harsh sentence here, and evidence or statement. So there's going to be, I think, some kind of proof of a serious offense of some kind. And I think JD Vance could get pulled into it. Deal, organized. This is something he knows about and has definitely struck a deal that's going to get him in trouble with tied or restrained. Again, he feels like he can't express himself freely. And that must be just chapping his hide. And I think he's going to have some kind of legal fallout. I'm not sure what this is about, but that's the second time we've gotten it. And interestingly enough, the second time also we get cards from a completely different deck of JD Vance feeling very truly confined, truly restricted within himself of what he says, how he expresses himself, everything, I think, down to the little things. And I think it's going to get to him. I do. I think it's already getting to him with the cards with the Rider Waite showing a loss of sleep and anxiety. You know, he's not real good with this. Okay, now I'm going to take a look at uh, RFK Jr. RFK Jr. Let's take a look at RFK Jr. Okay, RFK Jr. is listed as a Capricorn, but he has an interesting midheaven and ascendant, both in fire signs, Aries and Leo. So again, we're getting that aggressive, more forward extrovert energy. Yes, he has his ascendant in Leo and his midheaven is in Aries. And his birth path number is a 1, so that is explains a lot of the self-interest and motivation. All right, this will be interesting to see what we get with him. Okay, let's see how RFK is feeling right now with Trump and what will be the outcome of him endorsing Trump. I think the outcome is going to be interesting but unfavorable for him, not surprisingly. Well, let's just see what we get. How is RFK Jr. feeling about Trump? And what is the outcome for him supporting Trump and endorsing him? RFK Jr. He would be the King of Pentacles or probably a King of Wands. RFK Jr. and Trump. How's he feeling? The Chariot. He's feeling, I think, for the first time in a long time, really motivated. Look at him. He's ready to go. And he feels ready to take on challenges. And um, this is a man that likes control and doesn't give it up easily. I get the Wheel of Fortune. This is a fated involvement. This is going to also change things big time in his life. There's big changes and not necessarily for the better. But right now, I think he feels like he's on top of the world, but this is going to change. Large and in charge is what I get. And look, there's going to be regret. There's going to be remorse. The family name, um, the extended family. And there's loss. There's 3 here. There could be, many times when I get this card, there can be a loss of a connection to 3 people that somebody may be sorry at the end of the day for. So it could affect relationships that he has perhaps significantly with maybe three persons, um, and feeling like he's lost them out of his family. And that's a big deal. There's the mother aspect, wife card of the Empress, also abundance and suffering and release, an end of suffering. Is that abundance in his life? Let me just check on, I've never really paid attention if he's married or not. We're getting a sense, yes, of being outside the family, being outside the family kind of reunion, the family home, home and hearth, um, these rallies as well. I'm getting something here that he doesn't feel like he is accepted or received well. There's again a feeling of not being accepted. There's a rejected, diminishing aspect with regard to family and home, and maybe where even, I don't know, family wealth could be concerned. This it could be a mother figure or a wife figure that really has suffered, and they fortunately may have release from this suffering. But I think that this could even be RFK, this loss of nurturing from the family. And it feels very painful by looking at it, just the suffering. And then this shows up again, feeling like you're not accepted. Um, the past is what he's going to have, and he's going to, I feel like, need to transition from the past. He may be guided by a sibling, because this can also be a card of childhood, siblings, the past. But eventually, he might get through difficulty with his family. This is going to create a lot of issues within his family. I can't imagine more than we know of. Yeah, I'm getting particularly a female that has, in my opinion, wealth and a very clear mind about what she wants, very educated. And somehow I feel like this person is someone important to him. I don't know if it's a daughter, uh, a wife, a who, but it's an adult female. I feel like it's family related, and I feel like they have money, they have esteem that he's lost. It affects his relationships. Yeah, it affects his bonds. There's a feeling that he's sneaky. There's a lack of trust that's been created. The family will not trust him after this. Really will not trust him. There are decisions that they may make in the future and that he may make in the future as a result of this and how things play out. There's waiting, and there's waiting on a decision. Perhaps this is the vote, you know? Um, but look at that. I think he's going to throw himself in the river with this endorsement. It's going to end in an excessive amount of stress and heartbreak. And I feel like, especially with the family, it is going to strain his relationship with his family. Now, let's see what I get for Trump. Now, wait a minute. How does RFK Jr. How does RFK Jr. really feel about Trump? Does he really like Trump? Because I feel like this is just desperation tactic. And I feel like it's ego. I feel like it's anger. How does RFK Jr. really feel about Trump? Does he really respect him? Getting a Queen of Wands and a King of Cups. Well, I'm getting the influence of two other adult people, male and a female. I don't know if these are people that advised him. It feels like they might be like advisors. Okay, let's just hold that thought. And we have, ooh, they're like, I think these people warned him, watch yourself, be careful. The devil. There's corruption. There's things that aren't right. So how does he feel? I think he knows indeed the kind of character Trump is. And I feel like he's there to milk it for his own, trying to milk it for his own gain and turn it in some way to see if he can't do that. The Page of Swords is also very quick to decide on things, maybe too quick. So he's aware of the corruption. But yeah, he doesn't care. Look at the indifference with the Four of Cups and an accelerated, growing feeling of not caring. The less he cares. The less he cares about the bad things that Trump has done, the more he cares about what he can do for RFK Jr. I'm getting the Queen of Cups, again with the family, home. Oh, this is Ivanka. He's got an eye on her and her family. Is there some kind of business link there? There's some kind of growth or expansion with Ivanka. I have no idea what that would be. And here he is taking a risk with Trump and this family. And I think he's foolish. He's going to walk right off the cliff, and people have warned him, but he's going to go ahead and do it. And there he is, charging forward. He's enthusiastic. He knows what this family's about, and he just doesn't care because it's all about himself. This is Trump. So he throws his enthusiasm, but he doesn't really have enthusiasm for him. He's just a desperate player that's going to lose his self-respect. Well, I don't know that he'll ever lose self-respect, but he will lose the respect of his family and moreover, the trust. And that's huge. But he doesn't care. I get that he doesn't care. He doesn't care about this, Trump's true nature. So that just shows that he has no um, morality. All right. Now, let's take a look at Trump. How does Trump really feel toward JD Vance? How does Trump really feel toward JD Vance? King of Cups. I think that Trump feels emotionally this guy pushes his buttons. There's times that I think he's really glad to have him, and then we get times that I think he really would like to shut him in a closet and shut the door. There's a hot cold going on, and it comes from an emotive place. And again, I think it comes from Trump needing and wanting attention, and he feels like someone is stealing that from him, getting a little too much attention, not unlike Vladimir Putin. Um, Kind of a similar person, doesn't like somebody else showing him up. Yeah, look, we get judgment and death. So this is an end. There's an end that comes through association. And there's accountability that brings, that is, I think, going to be faced. And that ends his connection. There's something much deeper here. I think it's all the legality problems going on with Trump and more charges coming forward. There's something that ends. I think that their little relationship will end, and it just looks like it's up and down. He really does not think much of him, in my opinion. It's just using, totally a use. Everything he touches turns to crap. Again, he doesn't care. It's all manipulation. It's all for show. He does not care one iota. As far as he's concerned, that once he gets what he wants, that's the end of it. But I think conversely, if he doesn't get what he wants, that's the end of it too. But Trump also has to be held accountable here to some things. And I think Vance might get caught up in that. There might be some legalities that catch him up. And maybe that's why I was seeing that. I see very typically, these people don't, none of them, these three men don't care about each other, only to use one another as a stepping stone. Otherwise, they wouldn't care. Okay, let's see. There was a question I had. Let me just put this on pause and see if I can remember what that final one was. Okay, I'm going to look and see what is the end result for both JD Vance and RFK Jr. for their alignment with Trump. It didn't look good. But what is the final outcome for them and their alignment with Trump? How does this impact their lives at the end of the day, after the elections are done? How will Vance and RFK Jr.'s lives be affected for their endorsement and bond to Trump? I get family moves on. My feeling right here is RFK's family doesn't want the drama, doesn't want the headlines. And so I feel like they move forward. They may try and help him to move forward, but things will get better, I think, for the extended Kennedy clan, the extended families. They're just going to want this to be over to move on now, because I don't think they're not going to win. Yeah, heartbreak, where there was an anticipated of something that they could share that was this is a lot of pride that's going to be broken. So I get broken pride in both men. And heartbreak, there's pain. So this is not going to be, it's going to leave a mark. Let's just put it that way. It's going to leave a mark. And it looks to me like their families will try and move forward and away and out of, uh, from the chaos of a campaign cycle. And I think the extended family just don't want to have to be bothered with this anymore. But I sense a great deal of pain and disappointment, especially to the egos of these men, because they don't get what they want in the end. They come to a crossroads. Facts are facts, but it's also a sense of finality here with this Ace of Swords. And it just, it feels like it's going to leave a mark, like it's painful, feeling more alone and paranoid, watchful. It might it might set them on a path of self-discovery, but I think more likely of blame, looking to see who they could blame. And I think financial matters come to a head, or money, maybe an issue of money given maybe by this male figure here. So I don't know which of the men, but it could be even just a means of using money. What, from the campaign? I'm thinking like maybe there could be some funny business that they get some kind of support. Is Trump going to give some kind of financial support or incentive to these guys through the campaign funds? I don't know. Again, this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only, and I'm theorizing here. I'm not sure what this is. I do get temperance, though, in the moon. There is some kind of shady behavior that they're going to try and get away with, but not going to work. It comes out. There's a balance because there's so much darkness that the temperance card gets called in. when there's an excess that needs to be balanced, you get that card to say, bring this into balance. It's going to come out otherwise. So to me, it looks like some of their dirty laundry is going to come out. Their lives are not going to be in tip-top shape afterward. And their families are just going to, I think, want to be like, you know, done with it. Okay. And Trump, how is he going to feel after the election? Let's just see. How will Trump, JD Vance, and JFK Jr. feel collectively after the election in November? How will they feel collectively after the election? What will be their mood? Well, here's the three of them. And we see the Page of Wands waiting for information, waiting again with the Two of Wands and plans. It just doesn't look like they succeed. I can see that they have a lot of plans for November if they were to win, because there's planning and there's waiting and there's looking ahead being shown here. But the Sun and the Ten of Cups come out, and the past, they retreat. The focus will be on family. And I think the roar, I'm getting the roar of the crowd over those that actually do get elected versus these guys kind of fading into the past is a very real thing. There's pulling back, maybe nursing some wounds from the past, healing from the past. There's hidden aspects that are going to challenge them that have not played out yet. There's a money issue again coming up with this King of Swords. Is somebody going to bring up finances in funny business? I think so. Yeah, there's going to be fighting to do with money, support, hard work that's been put in. I think both JD and JFK Jr. are going to feel like, hey, I did a lot of hard work for you. There's arguing going on between the three of them. So initially, I see the three of them putting on this kind of a united front, but it's going to fall apart pretty quickly. They may contest results. That wouldn't surprise me. But I think if they were to see Trump win, they wouldn't be getting this energy after the election, which is not good. And yeah, abundance moves away from them, is walking away, or they're walking away toward abundance. Does somebody's wife leave them? Maybe Trump's Melania will finally exit. I get a loan and I get a delay. So I think they're going to feel isolated despite having some people around them. I think there's going to be some issues with family that comes up for these men, and it's going to really change their dynamic, their relationship. Families aren't going to want to have going to be over it, is what I get. So that's very interesting. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next live or video. Bye.